So you can see as I'm building up my brush, I'm also filling in some areas to smooth out a little bit, just gently increasing the buildup of the sculpt as I move along. Okay, so at this point I have most of the octopus blocked out the way I want it. What I need to do now is to start adding in a little bit more of the detailing to clean it up and sharpen everything up. What I want to do then at this point is remove my mask. This is going to let me be able to also work on the other part of the cover at the same time. So I'll hold Control and I'll drag. Okay, and so I have everything looks nice and clean. So what I want to do to clean up and actually divide the different parts of the tentacles from the upper and lower, I'll switch over to the Mech A brush. And the Mech A gives me an ability to essentially use a clean chisel that goes right down through the geometry along the edge. You do have to be careful with this because it has a tendency to sometimes pull and pinch a little bit too much. But you'll get used to the brush and you'll get a feel for what you can and can't do. It does have a bit of forgive, which is very helpful at times. Let's come around here again and just tighten that up a little bit. I more or less outlined this one tentacle, and that looks really good. But what I want to do is also divide the upper and lower panel. So I'm going to come through here now and pull that line right through and bring it all the way up to the top, just like that. In fact, in the concept art, I actually have it slightly different. The bottom panel comes up to here. And so that's a little bit of a change to what I had. So I have a little bit of a bump here that I want to clean up. I'll just take that over to the trim dynamic and I'll just hit that slightly just to tone it down a little bit. Okay, switch back over to the Mech A. And now continue on the rest. I'm actually holding Alt while I do this because the Mech A tends to inflate, not cut in. And I'll bring that down through the back panel. So you can see what I mean. You have to be very careful where here it's pulling part of the sculpt, and that's something that could possibly be an issue. It just depends. Because this is such a very small area, a bit obscure area, what I'll try is to use the smooth with a small brush setting, and maybe I can just pull that down, and that works fine. So back to my brush, and once again continue pulling that across. Great. So that's the second tentacle. And now we'll go on to the fourth. Okay, great. So we have most of that taken care of on the front side. And now I just have to concentrate on the back. So I won't lie, the Mech A brush is a fun brush to work with, but it can be a bit challenging pulling your lines. You really want to pull them nice and clean and in one continuous motion. So does require a bit of a steady hand, and not many people have that good of a steady hand. So you'll just have to keep playing with it and seeing how good of a result you can get from it. You can certainly do it in sections, but if you do, you'll have to really line it up when you try to match the line work again. Otherwise it will be noticeable. Okay, now I can concentrate on the top of the octopus head. So this is going to really define the overall shape of our character. Pull this line in. Okay, that looks really good. Looks like we have one more pull to do right here. So let's try it this way. And we'll try one more time. I'll do it very gently in this section, and then I'll increase my pressure as I go along, and I'll come back through. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we're now ready to move on to the next step, and the next step being adding some additional texture work to the octopus, and as well as creating alpha to put on the suckers underneath the tentacles, and then doing the final detail on the rest of the octopus.